Hello, scrappy friends. Welcome to day 2 of our scrapbooking summer school. I'm Diane Gutierrez and I'm a Creative Memories advisor located in Southern California. Today we are going to talk about embellishment clusters and how to build embellishment clusters. I love my clusters and I get a lot of comments about my clusters and a lot of questions too. So I thought, let's dedicate a day of our scrapbooking summer school to learning to do embellishment clusters. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to jump over to my desk, but before I do that, I just want to say one thing to make sure that I get this said now, that there are absolutely no rules when it comes to, when it comes to scrapbooking or building embellishment clusters. Okay, there's no rules at all. I have a couple guidelines that I want to share with you today, but other than that, there's no rules. You do what you like and you put whatever you like in there. You can put ever many you want in your cluster. You can just put one sticker if you want, one piece there. Totally up to you. If you like it, then it's right for your scrapbook, and that's the most important thing. So I'm going to switch over to my desk, and like I said, I'm going to walk through a couple guidelines on how I create embellishment clusters. We're going to practice a little bit, and then I'll bring in a page and we'll do some live on the page. Okay, so what I have here today is, when I was prepping for today, I thought that the best and easiest, quickest way to gather supplies for you are to show you some that I already have pre-made. So last month I started these little DIY embellishment kits. I use them as customer appreciation, customer thank you gifts for shopping with me. And so I grabbed a couple of these because I thought this is going to explain it very well. And so I have different styles here. We'll walk through each of these. And I thought I left them in their little package because I thought it's going to be what we what we should or could put in our embellishment cluster. So here's the first one. Each of my kits are a little bit different. I curate these myself. And so that's why another reason why I thought, well, this is going to be perfect to show you how I do it, because I built these kits. My thing is to always start with a base, okay? And this, I love using the mat cards that Creative Memories has, but any kind of little base will do. The base could be anything. It could be like, this is a mat card. It could be a journaling card. It could be a die cut. It could be a tag. I'm going to open all these and show you. It could be really anything. It could be any color and any shape, whatever you feel is fitting for your layout. Then I have pieces in here. I feel like a cluster would be 3 or more items, little accents or elements or decorations, however you want to say that, arranged together in one area to highlight whatever your theme is or whatever you're trying to accent. So here we're going to start with a title card, like a card that represents your title. Titling is a good spot where I always love to put my embellishing, as well as a journaling spot. If you follow me, I have those are my go-to areas. Gets me started, gets me going, and then I might add some other areas on the layout as well. Okay, so we'll start with the titling card, and we just start adding embellishments. I try to pick embellishments that have different textures. So this one is a little embossed. I think you can see it better on the back there. It's a little embossed die cut. And I would probably arrange right down here in the corner, depending on where this is going on my layout. I'd pick one corner to kind of start there. So I put my first one down. Now this packet, the elements are kind of the same size, okay? If you're looking for more guidelines, I would say pick items that are in different sizes, so you have a varying in different sizes, and I think we'll see some more of that coming up, okay? So the accents or elements, they could be several different things. They could be die cuts, they could be stickers, they could be punch outs from our punches. Really could be anything that you want to put there, a little piece of twine, a little piece of washi tape. And so I kind of get my elements together and kind of see where I'm at, and then just see what fits and what works. So, and then I just start tucking in. So I start with the starfish. That's going to be like my focal item on here. So then I'm going to bring in a couple of these Monstera leaves that were punched out from the Monstera leaf border punch, and I'm just going to start tucking. Since I have two that are different colors, I probably would tuck those under the starfish and probably have them coming out the side of the starfish like that. I personally love when things are hanging off the edge. So I would recommend that if you're looking like, why is it not looking the same? You have everything clustered on top. We'll spread it out and get it hanging off the edge. When it comes to covering up words or letters in a word, it depends. If I feel like, oh, they could read this even if I covered up the whole Y, extraordinary, your eye would read that probably. But if not, I would just barely cover up a little portion like that. Okay, so those would be my three elements, and then you can do some final touches. And for final touches, I love to bring in little gems. I would probably bring these in and maybe even keep them close together down here at the bottom, up here tucked in at the top, or I would even separate them, put one at the top and one at the bottom. Put one up there. It's on clear paper, so I think you get the idea. And just kind of spread that out. I even would like to maybe put it onto the actual page itself, like that. Another way to add visual interest to your cluster is by elevating some of it with a little piece of foam. Tuck that in so we don't see it. There we go. So you can see it pops it up and kind of gives it that dimension. Okay, so when you're looking for some tips on how to create your embellishment clusters, look for odd numbers. So I had 3, that's minus the gems. Then I had 3, 1, 2, 3. Bring the gems in, I brought in 2. So I'm up to 5 now. I love to keep them in odd numbers, 3, 5, 7. I generally don't have too many clusters that are over 7. But you might one day, or if you're building like a big shelf on the bottom or something, then you might. But I do try and keep it to the odd numbers. So different sizes, odd numbers, pop things up, and then play with different textures. So you'll see here I had the embossed die cut, and then I had some flat punch outs from the leaf punch, the Monstera leaf punch. Okay, this time we'll do the journaling box. Okay, sorry, I'll get rid of all this glare too, but taking them out of their package. But I just thought it's so helpful to see like what different elements I put in there. Okay, so here's our journaling box. And, you know, of course, depending on how much journaling you have to do, sometimes I only have a little bit, so I could really do a big cluster on here. But if you have a lot to say and you're going to use the whole journaling box, then maybe you'd want to come to the very edge and kind of build out on to the layout itself. Okay, so here's the 3 items this time, and you'll see the seaweed or the coral is the biggest item. So I would start with that and kind of put this. Now here's another tip. So you see what I did here. I cut this off right off of the sticker sheet. This is what I would do anytime to practice. Don't just stick your sticker on unless you have some kind of protection on it to not stick, because this is how you practice, and you don't want it to stick down and then you're pulling it up because you'll rip the sticker, you'll rip the paper. So either leave the backing on, you can see it's not that much in your way, or I highly recommend some kind of anti-stick. This is Creative Memories anti-stick powder tool. I use this all the time because even if I'm just building a regular layout, I want to see what it's going to look like before I commit 100%. So I'll take off the sticky, or at least get it to a point where it's not too sticky that it won't tear the paper or tear the sticker, and then it's very helpful. Or just like I did, cut it out and leave it on the backing. Okay, so I would start with the coral here, and if I'm going to build into my journaling spot a little bit, I would bring it all the way in, or again, I love it when it's hanging off. Then I have a little punch out from our sea turtle punch, and I would add that maybe off to the side, and then a little fish sticker. So this time I have 2 stickers and a punch out, and maybe I would even come into my page a little, tuck the fish underneath. And that actually brings me to another tip that I was thinking about is don't be afraid to cover things up. I know sometimes we think, oh, but If I cover the turtle too much, I won't see the coral or the seaweed behind there, but you will. Your eye will still see the seaweed. Let's put the turtle like this, a little more over the seaweed, and you could still see it, or you could put it out. I love for items to be touching. If you follow me, you know I say that all the time. And even if you don't, you love that sticker, you want it the whole thing to show, I would just maybe have just a little bit of his fins barely touching the edge of the sticker. Over here, I put the fish's tail completely under. Now, once I peel out the backing, a little more of the fish will show. But I put a little bit of the fish, and you can still tell that it's a fish. You don't need to see the whole fish to understand that it's a fish. Okay, so he's coming out of the seaweed. Maybe if I wanted to add some dimension, I would put a little piece of foam underneath the turtle. Overlapping a little bit is great too, because now it has almost a little shadow effect. And this time there's only one gem in here, and so I would just find what I would think is the proper place, maybe up here, maybe even down here. Maybe make it look like bubbles coming out from the fish or the turtle. There's really no wrong area for that little dot. Even if you wanted to exclude it, it's not wrong. So here I only had 4. I have 4 items. And if you're looking at your cluster and you're like, what? There's something just not feeling right about my cluster, maybe bring in an additional gem or enamel dot there and see if that helps kind of balance things out. So it doesn't always have to be odd numbers. It's just odd numbers are a little bit more pleasing to our eye and to our brains. So that's on top of a journaling card. We just took a corner of it down here, and we still have plenty of room to write our journaling over here. Okay, this one is on top of another punch. So this time, of course, I'm gonna bring in, somehow, I'm gonna do it, bring in my, my favorite tag punch. I love the tag punch because it's so versatile. And one of the things that we can do with a tag punch is just decorate it. We don't have to have any other thing to do with this except decorating it. So what I have in this particular kit is an embellishment die cut, and I have 2 of those. I have a Monstera leaf punch out. So far I've had punch outs in every one. It looks like that one's gonna have one too. And it's a good way, doing punch outs is a good way to extend your embellishment pack as well. Let's see, so I'm gonna start with my biggest one, and I'm gonna put it on my tag. I'm feeling to go like this direction. And then I'm just gonna start layering. So maybe I'm gonna do the Monstera leaf next, because that might be something I'm gonna tuck in, maybe add even more leaves up here, maybe coming off the tag like that. I kind of like that. Let's leave it there. And then I'm bringing in the palm trees. The circle, the palm trees, the different colors just really add to the overall visual interest of our tag, okay? And I would maybe pop this one up onto a little foam so that it's looking like it's resting up on top of everything else. And then bring in my gems, because I probably would put one here, and then maybe one somewhere else, maybe up here. And I would probably maybe even consider bringing in a 3rd one. You just kind of have to these, I'd love to just move them around till I find somewhere that I like. I like that the best, I think. Word stickers look excellent in an embellishment cluster. Here we go. And I like this one that says dreams. Why not? Get that anti-stick tool out, and you just tap it. I use my little mat here, and then I clean off my mat every once in a while because it gets really dusty. And I love to put little words in my embellishment area, so I would probably do something like this. Gives us something else to do when we're looking down there. Now we can start reading, and it adds to our journaling as well. So bring in your other tools. We have a couple other tools that we could maybe use. Of course, I love my tag punch, but list in the comments maybe some other ones that you would use. I'm thinking here, I love to also use like the scalloped square, the scalloped circle. The circle punches that we have are excellent for embellishment clusters. And then the last one is basically using other tools as well. This time I just cut the base on my die cut machine, and I made a circle We could use our custom cutting system, is a perfect embellishment maker right there, base maker right there. Our circles, our ovals. We even have some of in the gemstones like the hearts and the octagon or the hexagon. So lots of different things that we can use to create bases. This is one of my favorite go-to ones because I just love the edging on this. So I always pick this one for different themes. And then in this one, I did the Monstera leaves again. You can see my theme in the sun-soaked sets because I had a lot of, I took one strip and cut it apart and it gave me lots of little embellishments. Here I took another punch, the fishnet border punch, and put it into pieces. And then I have some stickers as well. This time we have 6 items. Let's see if we like all of them on here. And I probably would do something like this. Around, put this toward the bottom of what the circle, and then maybe put the fishnet piece coming under, like tuck it like that. Put the fish. The fish is the highlighted piece this time, even though he's one of the smaller pieces. I would put him on the top and actually probably pop him up with the little foam like that. So it looks like he's swimming out from the little net there. And then the bubbles are here to extend the embellishment cluster. This time we would go up like that and maybe go off the edge of the base there. That brings me to another thing that I like to do is to extend off of the embellishment cluster area. Now, I don't, I have my base, but then I love when things are trailing off to the edges, the top, like this one's trailing off. The bubbles are trailing off the top. Brought in a couple things here. These are some of my favorite go-tos that I'm going to right now in life is some of these border making cartridges. So the border making cartridges are going to be a little bit on the thinner side. Border punches are going to be a little bit more chunky. So, you just kind of pick and choose the ones you like and the ones that you feel like give some kind of movement or motion to your page. And so I love the double rickrack. I really love it because we get 2 and that can go a long ways. We punch out 1 row and we can get 2 strips. They're thin like this. So that's fun. Also, the new geometric gems is the same way. They're connected together, but you can cut them apart and get 2. So something like this is what I mean by trailing off. Wispy, it can also trail off. We'll cut some of these down and see here in a minute. If you don't like something so flowy, I feel like both wispy and double rickrack are kind of flowy and swirly. If you don't like that, you want to go a little bit more straightforward. This is my one of my favorites lately too, which is square link. Let's cut some of these apart. Let me bring back in the tag too, because I think the tag is a great visual for this kind of thing as well. But we'll start with our little circle here. Let me cut apart a couple of the wispy. If you cut it, it just needs to be cleaned up a little bit to give it more rounded edge. That's fine. And I would just cut off a few, 2, 3, whatever you think is going to work for your layout. And then I have it trailing off like that. As I'm looking at it, it looks a little bit like a lot of an L going on there. So maybe I would change it to the other side. No, I actually did like it better on the first side. You just got to try things. You got to try it. If you don't like it, then you move it somewhere else. Let's see if we can scoot this one aside. And you just have to go through your punches and see which ones that you like to do this kind of experiment, and then just do that experiment. So here is a little bit of the double rickrack, and actually this one I probably would put on top of the tag and it would look like that. I love doing that kind of thing. Let me put that up a little bit. See on both of those. Just trailing off, especially if you have room on your layout and you feel like, oh, there's so much room, but I can't add another photo or I can't add any more embellishments. Think of some of your punches, okay? All of our leaf punches are excellent for that. We can even probably see if it looks, just adding more and more to it. It doesn't go with our theme, but it doesn't not go either. Okay, they don't always have to make sense. It just has to look good to you. Let's see, maybe not this one, but there's that, and then there's this is our 5-leaf punch. That one's no longer available. This is leafy vine. I believe this one's still available. But all of these make great things that could protrude off or extend off of the embellishment cluster. Let me bring in a layout and we'll do some practicing right on top of a layout I've already created. So here's my layout, and this is only a 1 page right now. I'm gonna have 3 photos on here. And so the first thing I want to decide is where am I gonna put my embellishment clusters. So I did go ahead and pre-cut some circles using the custom cutting system. Like I was saying earlier, it's one of our best things that we can use for our embellishment clusters. If you don't have anything else and you're like, I don't know where to start with a circle. Circles work really nicely. And then start with all 3 of your bases being the same thing. They don't have to be the same thing, but if you don't know where else to start, then that is a really good place. So now I'm going to decide where I want to place these. So I'm going to put one up here. This is going to be my biggest one because I have quite a bit of room up here. But also I'm going to put my title, I'll probably put my title there. So I want it to be a little bit bigger. This is only a 1 page, so we can put 3 on here if we want to. If you want, there are some other guidelines as far as, doing like a diagonal look, or maybe you want to do a triangle look. And then there's also like, if you break your layout into thirds, you can do one in the top third, the bottom third, and then maybe the middle third. Those are just some guidelines. But I'm gonna do up here, I'm gonna bring this one down a little bit and put this one, maybe we'll see about that one, and we'll move it around because I do want to bring in some journaling. And I have a little box cut out. It's a little tight because it's only 1 page, but you can also spread your triangle out to the other page by moving one of the clusters to a second page. So I'm gonna put a little journaling area here, and then maybe this one, I'm having a hard time with that, couldn't figure out how to do that. So there we go, I'm gonna tuck it under the journaling spot and have the journaling overlap that cluster base. Let's start up here, because I want to put my title here. So I found this one, Tropical State of Mind, and I'm gonna probably put that somewhere up here. I don't have my photos yet, so I don't know what that's gonna be, but I know if I can go to the edge only, then I probably will be okay. So I'm gonna have my die cut overlap slightly like that. The same thing like we did before, I'm kind of just mixing up my different elements. And so here I have a couple palm trees. This is a punch out, and I thought this already had palm trees, so why not add a couple more? Tuck one under here and just keep pulling them. Again, it's okay if they're overlapping. Then I have another sea turtle, put it right there, and another die cut. And I think I'm gonna get some foam tape for this one. I would do something like that. I can come back in with some little gems if I wanted to, but right now I feel like I'm okay there. So let's come down here to this one. This one I tucked under the photo. Again, I don't have my photos, so I don't know if I had something I wanted to cover up there. This would be a great thing to put there as well. So let's tuck it under for now. This one I brought in another one of those big leaves. I think that's beautiful. So I'm going to put that down here. Again, I don't want to be too much onto my photo mat. And another Monstera leaf. Same idea we did before. Just tucking it under like this, going right to the edge of the paper. I had this cute little crab, and I thought he's perfect colors for this layout. But then I thought, well, if I put him down here, he's going to blend in quite a bit. And then, so this is where I for sure would bring in some foam. He needs to be elevated up on top of those pieces so that he doesn't get washed in. Okay, so we gave him a little dimension, and then we have some more of our fishnet border punch. And here's where perfect place to extend off of my cluster is to go up like that. And I wanted to also show, if you didn't want to do the fishnet, this had another embellishment in here that it's supposed to be like a wave, but I would maybe even do something like that. Now, see, I don't take them all so literally, because if it's a wave, we maybe think, oh, it has to run like this. but I don't think it does. I would run it even up like that. It's moving your eye around the page and it's kind of directing you to come up to the next area. Okay, the visual triangle takes you and focuses in on your photos, which is what we're looking at, right? But why not have a little fun and creativity while we're building our, putting our memories in our book, right? So there's that, and then let's go back to this. So same thing, it's kind of pointing upward. So we're gonna go back to this one because I like it. It's kind of our little arrow. Then we have some little fish. This was a sticker I took the sticky off of. I would cut these. That's another thing. We don't want to be afraid to cut them apart. This was actually a border sticker, I believe it was. So let me clean it up a little bit here. And I cut it all apart because that one border sticker gave me a bunch of little embellishments that I could add to my clusters. Yeah, I would probably pick this one based on this swirly little thing. I'd pick the turquoise one, but if I had the fishnet in here, I might go back to like a purple one. Okay, let's come up here to this area. I picked out a few things to put up here. Again, you're gonna see my Monstera leaf. The one thing, if you figure I don't know what else to put in my cluster, try and make sure, if you want to try and make sure put a little something that is the same in every one, if that helps you. It'll help you to get started. So I have a sun here, and I love to put my suns at the top of the page, and I'm going to take that one out and actually tuck my sun right here, maybe come out a little bit, and then take my embellishment cluster now and tuck it under there. Now the thing about the cluster base and some of our items, like the cluster bases are getting covered up. So a lot of people are like, why even put it there? I do for a couple reasons, because I feel like, one, it's giving me a grounding area or a spot to house all my embellishments. And it's also, if it wasn't here, we're going to see through to the background paper, which might be a little bit distracting. I tend to use solid colors for my bases, but again, there's no rules, but that just helps me to kind of focus on just that instead of all the other added paper behind. So I know that I get that question a lot, where you're just covering up your cluster base, but it's doing its job. It's housing everything for me. Okay, so let's see, I have another palm tree. I probably would tuck it under, and then some more of our leaves. Now these, I might come out underneath the base. I still have room on my paper, so I would tuck under the base and have them coming out the side there. I have one other fish, and I don't know if he completely makes sense being up here next to the palm tree and the sun, but it's the right color. And it's tropical, right? It's tropical, so if you want to put it up there, you can put that up there. And I do like the color, and we can maybe add a little bit of foam to that one as well, because I did add foam here and here. So in that case, I would maybe be looking to see, like, should I pop something up in the third area? And maybe we can look through our word stickers and see if we want to put word stickers anywhere. Family time, today's the day. Oh my gosh, see, there's always good ones. Yeah, let's do live in the moment. Take off that sticky again. Just can't recommend this enough. If you are nervous about just playing around, this will save your paper and your sticker. And it's a big tub of it. It doesn't just spill out. You kind of have to tap it. So very nice design here. It's one of the least messy ones I have come across. Okay, so pretty much gone. Actually, it's really gone. And I would maybe come down here. You can put it right here, coming off your cluster. Maybe even up here with your journaling. Not sure I like that one. This one already has words, so I would purposely probably avoid that, but not wrong. But I liked it best down here. Get everything back on the page. And then also I wanted to say here, as we were talking about kind of trailing things up, there were some great border stickers on here too. The bubbles. The bubbles give us lots of movement and motion and direction on our page. So there we go. That's my layout once I added my clusters to it. Those are my ideas for how I get started embellishment clusters, and how I start, how I like to ground them with the base and then add on top, constantly adding, tucking in, trying new things. And that was how I wanted to end today, is by the only way I got to get to the point of clustering that I do now is practice. I practice. I'm sure I have pages somewhere that I did the cluster and then thought, oh, I didn't really like it. But you have to go on do it. If you didn't like it 100%, put it aside for a little bit, come back to it if you want to, and then just go on to the next layout and try again. But practicing is the key. You got to just keep trying things, take the sticky off, and move things around. That's my best advice. So I hope that helped, and I hope that you get some kind of inspiration and the desire to try some embellishment clusters. Okay, take care, everybody. See you soon. Bye.